Googy morning, everybody, and welcome to the Cloniversary, Klon Retrospective, the show celebrating the one-year anniversary of CGP episode 108, the public access robot clown show, Klon. I'm Bryson Wallace, and I'll be your host for today's festivities. We're going on a deep dive with the Klon cast and crew. Oh yes, I'm a happy man. Happy to bring you the big scoops and the little loops behind the show that had everybody saying that red-headed robot's famous catchphrase, Klon. What a good word. If you add the letter E, you get clone. If you add a Y, you get Cylon. Add a W, it's clown. Put an extra O in there, and buddy, that's a colon. Hey, real quick, this is totally unrelated, but I wanted to say this before we got too far into the show. Take a deck of cards. Now think about the face cards. Now think about fast food. You got Burger King, Dairy Queen, Jack in the Box, and the ace is Arby's. What's that about? Anyway, if you haven't seen Klon, what the heck are you doing here, folks? If it's been a while since your last viewing, here's a little refresher for you.
Let's get Klon out here. Let's hear some Klon. Come on, bump it up for Klon. You're all probably wondering, Klon stands for Cybernetic Lifelike Operational Numbskull. So let's see what Klon can really do.
Klon is a dream. Klon is the future. Well, newsflash, wormhole. Riley Soliner. It's me. It's you from the future. Future. It's up to you to bring Klon to the masses. It's Klon time, baby. Klon. It's an ode to joy of a future that might have been. Klon. A fine line between timelines. Klon. The future isn't a black mirror. It's a funhouse mirror.
Oh no, my mirror! My mirror!
Klon. Artificial intelligence meets organic stupidity. Klon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the man behind Klon, Riley Soliner.
Googy morning. Hey, Bryson.
Good morning. Riley, I'm so happy that we're spending today talking Klon. How are you feeling this morning? How's it feel a year post-Klon for you?
Well, we didn't see this coming, right? I mean, we've been here for a while, but like to think a year ago, I felt so good doing that show. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always hoping to make something that I can look back and feel happy about, and this is definitely one of those things. There's a lot of things that I can feel very proud of when I think of Klon. I'm happy that I brought a lot of my favorite people together to do the show. It changed Matt De Niro's life. Mm-hmm. And it combines just a lot of different things that I really enjoy to do and enjoy thinking about, and that I have, dipped my toe into various things for many years. And I just felt like at the time, it felt like a culmination, like a full circle kind of project. And I'm happy that it resonated with some people and that we get to talk about it.
Now, we're going to spend today talking to the cast, the crew, and most of the folks that collaborated on Klon. I do want to already make an editorial note. Tiger Bates in the chat saying, I thought the man behind Klon was Brian Fungalhead. Absolutely true. I apologize for that oversight on my part. Riley, should we get to our first block of guests for today?
Yeah, let's get to the cast. We're gonna should we? Yeah, let's play the little
hit the
thing.
video. Hit the video. Let's
little thing. Yeah.
I'm Brian Fungalhead, CEO of Klon, billionaire, inventor, gamer. I've developed the ultimate revolutionary high-tech game changer, and it wasn't easy. Fun to see. My two favorite things, fantasy and my last name.
My fleet of Klon children and I, we will land on the edge of this beautiful crater, and my Klons, they will exit the rocket and they will build me a moon base, like a new moon office, just for me to dream up the best snacks for you. I will forever be Dinanda, the woman who invents treats from the moon. Oh, wait. Dinanda Queen from the moon?
Food so good, it'll make you say that snack must have come from the moon.
I'm Marla, and I'm here to say, oh, Brian, you are an idiot! The wiener dog holder is not just a penny and key holder, it's a robot here to do everything you need better than the Klon.
All right. Yeah, I'm an editor.
Don't let him peek behind the curtain too much.
Oh, okay. That's what today's for.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Okay.
true.
Yeah, here's the cast. We got Brian Fungalhead himself, Justin Angermeyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah.
How's
Great
it
to see
going?
you. Good. How are you?
I'm great. Sorry, that was the worst intro I've ever done, and I'm sorry to everyone watching.
try
I'm
again?
in this moment. I'm very good.
All right. Good, man.
Thank
It wasn't I like the intro. You very chill.
Yeah, did Shaka Bra.
Yeah.
You had
Shaka
hype
Bra to
packages.
everyone.
You had 2 hype packages.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
That is, yeah. I mean, I was talking about my own personal. Yeah, you guys get it.
It's good. It's okay. We have let's bring in Hank. Let's bring in Mr. Hank.
What's up? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And we also have Marla.
Marla herself.
Hi.
Good morning, Marla.
Good morning, boys, gentlemen, men.
Sorry, I'm texting with Dinanda because unfortunately she thought that this was at 11 p.m.
Ooh.
Not 11 a.m. That's okay. So we'll have Dinanda on a little bit later. She's busy right now. Maybe she'll join later. Hello, Marla.
Oh, hello, Riley, the man behind the robot.
I know. It's good to see you again. It's good to have your $1 million mansion behind you. It's good. Yeah. Oh no, it's the key holder.
Your rival, the key holder.
The dog, wiener dog key holder that almost brought the whole thing down.
It's true. Oh, I just love it. We turned it into a menorah this year for the holidays. It was so great.
Well, shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah. We were talking back. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I'm so happy to have everybody here this morning together. The burning question that we wanted to start this thing out with was for everybody. I guess sans Riley, what made you say yes to doing Klon?
I'll do anything Riley's doing. He's so handsome and smart and funny and kind. He walks the talk. He's a hippie.
And then Hank, how about yourself?
I hadn't really performed much at all, maybe in the last 3 years before Klon. And Riley had been talking to me about it for a while. And I just jumped at the opportunity to work with Riley because it had been a long time since we got to be creative together. So I'll always say yes when Riley calls.
Justin, yourself?
Riley's my friend, and I like what he comes up with, and I'm constantly pursuing power and money. So,
So it's a perfect fit for you.
Yes.
Now, you guys have hit on it a little bit here, and this was something that we definitely wanted to go over. Riley, I'll pose this to you, and then everybody can sort of jump off of it maybe. How does everybody know one another? Because that's a very unique element to Klon.
Yeah. A lot of times when doing creative projects in New York, I feel like there was a bubble that it's a good and a bad bubble where just I knew a lot of people from the comedy theater world, and it was hard to break out of that. Even though a lot of talent and lots of willing and able performers, I wanted to mix it up for this thing, and especially because I know people from lots of different places, I feel like it would be more mine and more personal if I could bring in people from a couple different directions. So Marla and Hank, I've known for at least 15 years.
Longer.
Longer than that.
You were a young lad.
Yeah, you've known me since I was a little pea pod.
Maybe 9, 8.
Yeah.
A child.
But we're all part of, the Camp Winter Rainbow summer camp family, juggling and singing and walking on stilts and doing clowning and improv together in the woods. And then I met Justin, I want to say 3 years ago, when Mitchell Stephen Fesh started I'm wearing the shirt right now, Extremely Serious Wrestling, best comedy wrestling league in New York. And after a while, seeing Justin at these monthly shows, just before the show, I would just have to just kind of walk up to him and go, "Man, you're the funniest guy in the world." And he in Extremely Serious Wrestling, he plays Serious Justin Angermeyer, the owner, like the ring man, the ringleader of the whole show. Yeah. And so I just knew that he could nail this character that I was coming up with, because he just you just do boisterous and like big blustery bonehead really well.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite thing to watch. And then sorry.
Just to say I am a bonehead, to cut you off. Sorry about that.
It's good.
Non-addition to the conversation.
And then Denanda, I know through an acting class that I took. It took like a year-long thing, and we were there like 3 days a week and getting good at like all different types of acting. We both got to see each other do so many different types of like modern and classical scene work, and did some Shakespeare and some monologues and all these different things. And we became close friends through that. And we never got to do a scene together. So Denanda and I got to, I just knew that if I wrote her a monologue, she would be able to just do it really well. So it was fun to give her something to do.
I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that the chat is giving respect to Marla for holding that very good wiener dog keychain in frame for us. People are wondering if that's going to be an endurance test for this block. We'll find out throughout the course of this segment. Now, that's everybody's background of knowing each other, but I'll pose this back to the panel, and maybe Riley will have you at the end, is how was the idea of Klon pitched to each of you? Or was it just as simple as like Riley's got a thing, hey, do you want to come on it, like sight unseen? What was Klon, how was Klon pitched, and what did you know of it before making the decision to be a part of it?
Well, I was at an estate sale and my cell phone beeped. Words came up on it. I'm new to cell phones. And Riley, I had met Riley at another garage sale when he was young. And Riley said, "Oh, come aboard and do some acting." And I've done some acting at local community theaters and in church groups, but I've never been on a television screen. And I couldn't turn down the opportunity to shine a little. And to shine alongside Riley, whose light is so bright, shooting out from his cheekbones, his nose, his heart, his eyeballs. I just couldn't turn down such an exciting new opportunity.
And Hank, how about yourself?
I think I said yes before I really knew anything about Klon. I've known Riley as one of my favorite clowns of all time, so I've known Riley as a clown for a long, long time. And I think we were just walking by some water somewhere in New York City, and Riley was like, "I want to do this with you." And for me, I was just like, yeah, he was like, "There's a robot clown." I was like, "Sounds familiar," and then I said, "Yeah." And then when we got into the studio, I learned more and more, but I felt like I got there knowing almost nothing about the project.
And Hank, how many questions might you have had in the studio of recording tracks such as "Robot in a Restaurant"? What like was there any questioning in what the hell is this as you were recording those tracks?
No, I mean, Riley, I trust, and I think Yuri's been on before, and Riley and Yuri both set up all the music with really strong bones, lyrics, and like crazy, incredible tracks. And so when I got there, I felt like super organic, no questions asked, just like playing around on the mic, and then we struck gold. I feel like.
Can I ask a question to Hank?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hank, where can we get the snack tracks? Can we download them and listen to them on our iPods?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna toss that back to Riley.
Yeah. Here, I have the URL in the private chat now, but you can go to clonrobot.bandcamp.com, and there are downloadable links for all 3 EPs, mini albums of all the tracks that Yuri and I worked on for all 3 episodes of Klon.
We should have made this whole thing a telethon just promoting the EP. We should have just.
Yeah.
We still can. We still
could, you know. We got a 3rd segment we got to fill now. So, but yeah, like there's studio versions. They're not just the public access audio put on an album, but we have really nice, high quality versions of all those songs if you haven't heard them.
Well, and the great part of at least the first EP is that Yuri did do mixes that included some of the public access audio as far as either the monologue or any other bits in there. So there's some really good mixes on that first EP. Justin, I'll throw it to you. Klon would become ultimately a combined story of both Klon and Brian Fungalhead, I feel like. How was the idea of Klon pitched to you?
Yeah, Riley emailed Fesh and I that he was working on this thing for Gethard, and he wanted to bring us on board. And then the 3 of us met in the Wendy's on 5th and 33rd, and the rest is history.
Did you have a potato or a double cheeseburger?
Great question. Great follow.
I think I had chicken nuggets and French fries, and I can't speak for Riley and Fesh.
I believe Fesh had a Baconator. Ooh. And I think I also had spicy nuggets.
Yeah.
So no one had a baked potato, which Wendy's is known for.
I know.
And a Frosty, right?
I think there was a Frosty somewhere in there.
Someone had a Frosty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to comment, I believe, as we're talking about the cast, especially Klon 1, we'd be remiss if we didn't include this person. I believe if we have her, Steph, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you. Steph.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hello. We were just asking everybody how Klon was pitched to them. Your case is pretty unique in that it wasn't exactly pitched to you.
No, not at all. I just showed up and I didn't really know who Riley even was. And it was all a surprise.
This was one of my favorite moments in doing all 3 episodes because it's always kind of a gamble just to bring someone up. And I had never seen you before. You were visiting New York, and this is why I never saw you.
Yeah, I was just there for 2 weeks, and we tried to hit up a few stand-up shows, including CGP, and then I got my big break.
You did so well. I mean, I actually one thing that I found interesting was that people thought that you were a plant in the audience because you did so well. And I wish there was a way to convey to people in the moment as they're watching the show that this is a totally spontaneous thing, but you totally rolled with it. It was such a delight. It was.
Steph's connection seems to be cutting in and out. If we do get Steph back, we can get Steph on camera saying "I was not a plant," if that helps.
Okay, yeah, I see what's going on. I see what.
Steph, if your connection's giving you issues, try rejoining us. We'll bring you back in if it works out for you. But
I have quick amendments to both Marla and Hank's stories that I just found. Just the show. One thing that I knew that Klon was special before it happened. I knew it was special because it was total coincidence that Marla and Hank were able to do the show. Keith Haskell, also known as Banana Man from the Chris Gethard show, was working on a show with Marla in some capacity. Didn't know that they both knew me until they started talking showbiz. And something happened where my name came up, I think because Keith was doing CGP or something. And then Marla contacted me, and then I just knew, like, okay, well, now you got to be part of the show.
So true. I forgot about that. That was a magical moment.
Okay, Steph's back. Steph.
Sorry.
It's okay. Can you confirm that you were not a plant? You genuinely didn't know?
100%. I had no idea.
All right. It's on record.
I barely knew you were calling me up when you did. You were just kind of looking right at me. And eventually I remember being like, me? Are you talking to me? And you were.
Yeah.
Now, Steph, the chat is commending your commitment to the overall robot in a restaurant bit. What was going through your head as you were up there with Klon? And being asked to blindly grab things out of boxes.
I was very nervous. I was shaking. I feel like if you couldn't tell I was nervous, I was very anxious. And eventually, kind of when I figured out that Riley just wanted me to do what he was doing, and I picked up on his prompts, that was helpful. I remember being very scared opening the corn. I was really scared it was going to be something gross or like a slab of meat or something. So that was very relieving.
We've got fan art.
Oh God, that's
beautiful. A local unknown. I believe while we're here, I believe we also have fan art of was it Marla and Fungal Head. They can bring that up.
It's so cool.
Oh, there's some Fungal Head art.
Iconic moment.
Oh, yeah, wow.
And we've lost Steph in the process.
There's a lot of water you drank.
Yeah. I think the gallon jug. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Some great art by Local Unknown on Discord. Thank you, Local Unknown.
I think the gallon jug bit was something where I brought it to the studio and like maybe 10 minutes before the show, I was like, Justin, when the lights hit and all that, I just need you to chug this. I think I made him go fill it up. I said, go fill this up and then go put this somewhere where you can chug.
Yeah, thank God for the tap.
Yeah.
MNN.
Good water
Justin,
in Manhattan.
Yeah. Your famous line with that jug of water is a lot of air went down with that water.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
A lot of air coming up from my stomach. That's it was that was gross. I'm not a good chugger, so I think I just like gulp air down as I do it, and then I couldn't stop burping. It was I didn't throw up though. So
roll with it.
There's a history of water between Riley, Hank, and I. We have a history of the place we come from, this weird camp. Water is very important. We sing about water. We talk about water. Water is a major part of the culture. And it was wonderful to see this part of your childhood, Riley, make its way to New York City.
You're right. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it was like even before the show really got rolling, he was paying tribute to this foundational element of my childhood. Wow.
Yes, the water song. Hank, can you just do a quick tidbit? Is that possible?
Absolutely. I could not possibly sing the water song. I just don't remember the lyrics.
All I remember is I remember fill up your tank, water in your belly's like money in the bank.
What?
Perfect for Justin's character. Money, water.
Yeah.
That's right. He's not money rich, but he was a billionaire until he lost it, but always water rich. At least 70% water.
I mean, by the end of the series, water, that's all he had, I think.
It's just the water of his body.
Yeah.
Now, for you all as performers, what in Klon, either leading up to doing it or while doing it itself, what parts of Klon surprised you the most as performers?
I was surprised by so much of it because I hadn't actually seen what the show was going to be of before I got there. Mm-hmm. And so I was getting to watch it for the first time with everybody else, and I was able to, go over songs and stuff with Denanda and Yuri, but a lot of the actual show I was watching for the first time. I was laughing as hard as everybody else was backstage. And also, with this clip, I totally forgot I had that, crazy Andy Warhol haircut and color. I had forgot that my hair was ever that. So that's also surprising me now.
I mean, for fans of Klon, that's the true form of Hank. That's the Hank that they remember.
Give them what they want, I guess. I gotta get me a wig.
Well, for me, I have known Riley since he was a young lad, pretending to be a robot at mealtime. So watching Klon was simply a incredible moment of all these moments that I could recognize from his life and his journey to really owning the true human clown weirdo he is. And it was a celebration of delight. We had to make him go to New York. We had to pay him. We had to pay that little mischievous clown to get the fuck out of the Bay Area and go to New York City.
Yeah, our mutual friend.
It was glorious. Yeah, to see that bitch fucking owning his brilliance on a world global stage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, was there anything that surprised you most about Klon or the process of Klon?
Definitely the lighting rig that was rigged up. I thought whoever built that it was great. That I was able to run out from underneath.
Mm-hmm. Olivia saying the first 10 minutes of Klon are almost Shakespearean, and that's a nod to you, Justin, for sure.
Oh, that's very nice. Well, yeah, because I guess Funglehead is, you get to see the behind the curtain of him before he realizes he's alive, and you see that he's just full of air and a big phony, and then his mirror breaks, and that's I think that's something that Fesh came up with. That his mirror breaking that's him having 7 years of bad luck right at the beginning of this. That's why everything goes wrong for him immediately and does not stop. But the lighting rig is the thing that surprised me the most. I was like, wow, this is very cool.
Kate Sweeney, who would know, is in the chat saying Union Garage Productions, and I'm assuming that's who provided the rig. So shout out to Union Garage Productions for that.
They were great.
Riley, for you, what surprised you about Klon or your process in Klon? And Steph, I swear to you, I have a follow-up for you after this.
Just happy to be here.
Okay. I mean, it was something that I was feeling so strongly about doing and doing well that, like how Marla came into the show, there were all these coincidences that would just occur in the making of Klon that would just let me know that the thing was in some way going to be a success. I remember asking Hank to do music for Klon when I had a restaurant gig that I was supposed to work. It wasn't a restaurant gig. I was supposed to go to a catering gig and take a van ride out to like upstate New York and serve hors d'oeuvres and stuff. But, and this has never happened before, I wore the wrong shirt. Supposed to wear a black shirt, I wore a white shirt. Couldn't go on the trip. I was uptown, so I asked my friend Jesse if he was hanging out. And he said he was going to Brooklyn to see Hank for his birthday. And it was like the perfect day for me to skip work and go see Hank and go see a bunch of friends. Got talking about performing and, you know, getting back into doing a little bit of that. And I just, before I really knew what the show was going to be, I knew it was going to be a robot clown thing. And I just asked Hank if he would be interested. And that's how Hank got involved. And then around that time, I had been having coffee about once a week with Yuri. And I had been to Brick House, the recording studio where he makes music sometimes, and it's like a group effort kind of thing. And it was just such a good vibe there that I really wanted to get everybody in that music making zone, that headspace. And when Yuri played the beat to Robot in a Restaurant, and it was so good that I was like, oh, can we use this? And then Denanda came by and Hank came through, Justin was there. And in one take each, they both just nailed the vocals for the song. And I just knew that if even if the rest of Klon was going to be bad, it's going to have great music. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that would really float the whole project. And then, God, like there were just everyone's enthusiasm, you know, all the production staff at CGP were so on board for pretty much anything. Like I knew that I was coming in with a very intricate, complicated idea for a live public access thing, but everyone wanted to make it work. And everyone put in so much effort to make it work. So I don't know if I was surprised by that, but I was very delighted and empowered by that.
Now, Steph, for you as an audience member, I believe today you're going to be the only person we're able to talk to who came in just purely to experience the show and had no preconceived notion of it whatsoever beforehand. What was that process like for you as an audience member coming in to watch the show that night?
It was a lot of fun. I had never been to Chris Gethard. My partner had been to a few Chris Gethard shows. And so, yeah, it's surprising how small the studio was with everybody packed in. I think this was like the first CGP that was sold out or as packed. So we were all very close together. Yeah, overall, it was really fun. You never know what's going to happen with the live TV. Puts a little more adventure in it. I always have had kind of a fear, and I thought it was an irrational fear of being picked out of an audience for something like this. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely something for me personally to go through. But overall, it was really good. I thought that Riley, I remember a moment where I was like, what the fuck is going on? And you just kind of made eye contact with me real quick, and something hit, and I was like, okay, just going to follow this guy. And turned out that's what I was supposed to do. So it was a good call.
That's great that you could feel supported in that way, that if it was a fear for you, that any of that was alleviated. We're going to be moving on to our next block, so I want to take the time with this panel to say, as silly as it sounds to say quickly, but like, how would you sum up your experience working on Klon with this greater team? Marla, do you have thoughts?
Oh, easy peasy, delightful and cheesy. Wonderful, simply wonderful. Just like going to an estate sale and finding a treasure and having that spark of neurological excitement and wonder. A total pleasure.
Hank, yourself?
It was rejuvenating. Like I said, I hadn't performed for years before I got up to do Klon with Riley, and having those, the next show was also great. And I think it just got me back into singing. And the response that everybody had was super like touching for me. So I'm so happy that I was able to do it.
I just wanted to interject when you said that. I had a flash of you singing a song about every item I find at a garage sale and it being a companion piece. Maybe we could do that.
A little bit of a song.
About every item I find at
the shape of a car. I call it a car key. Edible glitter. So every car key is sparkly. A burrito in a burrito in a burrito in a burrito. And a necklace made of calamari. I wanted so much to find a necklace made of calamari for this. I just was like, I could not stop thinking about it. So if
They're hard to
anybody
come by
out there with crafting ability and talent wants to, send one of those my way.
I'm going to have my sister send you one. She's going to craft one and send it to you.
At the very least, Hank, all it takes on here is to ask for some fan art of a necklace made of calamari, and somebody might take us up on that.
I'm ready.
We got to end with that, at least for this block. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Hank. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Marla. Justin, I think we have you sticking around, right?
I believe so.
You believe so? Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Love you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Love y'all.
Great to see you.
so much.
Riley, before we get to the next segment, you want to tell the folks about the incentives that you have going on?
Yeah. Planet Scum, public access, Planet Scum, public access on the internet is supported by viewers like you. And you can contribute to Planet Scum, or you can specifically contribute to Googy Morning if you like, if you feel like you're getting something out of this show. And I offer little incentives in exchange for your contributions. You know about the handmade postcards already that I draw or do little. I have these new ones with the block printing with this cool paint on them. I have some Mr. Rude logo stamped postcards, but we have other stuff too. Let's put up the thing, and I'll read them off. Look at this. For $5, I'll get on my Chaosilator and I'll send you a song. You want to give me a suggestion for an idea for a song, and I'll just improvise a song for you? I'll do that. For $7, we got the Klon and Vacation Jason sticker duo packet. It's the Klon logo that it's not going to spin like the logo above, but it's the Klon logo on a sticker. And then I have these Vacation Jason stickers, hot off the presses, never before seen Vacation Jason design ever before, but it's cool. I think you'll like it. And I'll mail those to you. We got the postcards, and then for $1,500, we'll do an episode where we watch the Irishman, Martin Scorsese's blockbuster on Netflix. And I don't really want to do that. I've already seen that movie. It's very long, and it's not my favorite Martin Scorsese movie. But I'll do it for $1,500, and maybe we'll do let's start there. We still got to watch all those damn Lord of the Rings movies I found in a graveyard, but that's for another time. I don't know yet.
We should say email your donation receipt to googymorning@gmail.com to take Riley up on those offers.
Yeah.
We're gonna switch to now the production team behind Klon. Riley, you were getting into it a little bit there, and we might as well talk to the folks involved. So I believe we have with us old Jersey Dave. Jersey Dave, how are you?
Hello.
Googy Morning. We've got the director of the show, Edmund.
Hey, how's it going?
We've
Love you guys. Good to
We've
see
got
you.
the CGP producer, Kate Sweeney.
Yes.
Hi.
Googy Morning. And then I believe she did sets, right? For
Production designer.
Production design.
Yeah.
Olivia is with us.
Hi.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Oh, my God.
Hey, Olivia.
I know.
Hey.
Googy morning, everybody. So happy to have the team here. It's been a while since we've been rocking and rolling on a CGP. I think everyone here might have thoughts on the fact that Klon was sort of a turning point for the CGP project in some ways. What were your thoughts on approaching Klon in your areas working on CGP, and how did it stand out for you at all?
I think it was the first gauntlet that was really thrown. It was we had a bunch of like really high quality episodes, and they all kind of had like incredible moments. But I think everyone kind of walked away from Klon being like, "Oh shit, you can do that with this show." You know, it like kind of upped the bar where everyone was like, "Oh, we have to go big." Like all of the different comedians, I think, saw Klon and was like, "Fuck it, let's go. Let's whatever bonkers idea we have, let's go big." So I think in that regard, Klon really kind of elevated the whole project.
Yeah, I would say what I loved about it was just that Riley came to us with this idea that like is the best use of live television, where like you have planned pieces and like well rehearsed, but then also the opportunity to embrace like the randomness that is like interacting with the live studio audience, taking phone calls. So those things that like tip to the audience that there's that like spontaneity, like makes that such a magical moment for me, and that's what I loved about doing this show.
Kate, Olivia, thoughts?
Okay. Yeah. So all I knew going into Klon was that everyone, like Dave and Chris, were like, okay, Riley has this super, crazy big thing, and we need you on board for it. And we don't really know what it's going to be, but it's going to be good. And I was like, okay. And that was kind of like just going into it and like reading the script. I thought I knew what was going to happen, but like the actual show, I didn't realize like 40% of what was happening was going to happen. So like the thing about these shows is that we don't really know what it's going to look like exactly until about 2 hours before the show. So it's like the beautiful anxiety of it all. But it ended up looking amazing. And yeah, that's how I just felt like super excited and like super motivated to work on this project because the props were they were simple, but like they were super cool and intricate. And the story was just like, yeah, it was super interesting. So I was excited to work on it.
Remind me, I seem to remember there being an email where frantically we were trying to locate as many cardboard boxes as possible because Riley put in a wall of cardboard boxes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there was supposed to be a bit like all of the cardboard boxes that were on the set. There were about like 10 times as many in the lobby. So from like 6 p.m. that day, I had Jared in the crew and like Harper just like running around New York City, collecting as many boxes as they could, finding out like where they could find them just on the street. And then like when we got to the studio, we didn't have enough. So I had to send out the entire crew again. And then they came back with so many boxes that I think MNN was like super mad at us because it wasn't recycling day that night.
Yeah, we brought a lot of garbage to that studio.
We brought so much trash.
And that one was definitely, yeah, because there was also a lot of wet cardboard from like produce that they were kind of like, don't bring that into our studio. So yeah,
understandably,
but they always, in typical MNN fashion, they do one of these like, you guys, and then kind of let us do what we're doing.
Yeah.
We should say Nate and Harper, I believe somebody mentioned they were in the comments, right? So Nate and Harper, hello.
Hello.
Nate Dog fourth.
Olivia made 16. I did make 16 pies for, what was that, Klon 3, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Kate, we do have to address, you were muted there a second ago and it threw some people off. People are also concerned that it looks like you're in some sort of jail or prison.
Oh, no, I'm in my backyard.
Great. Look, oh, it's such a beautiful backyard. It's the opposite of what people
Just a New York City apartment. Nothing weird about bars everywhere.
Yeah, there was a lot of sirens, so I was muted.
we just need to address it so that people's worries could be quelled. You know, Kate, what was Klon like for you as far as that idea of it sort of sparking what other comedians would end up using CGP for?
Well, I think it was actually one of the first scripts that we got back. So like when CGP was announced or launched, Riley got to writing immediately and didn't end up making one of the first episodes. Still maybe the first wave ? But he started sending out those like color code. Maybe this will be talked about more in the writing section, but the like 15-page color coded script and then also outlined and then
which I have all available right now.
Yeah.
So these were getting like, you know, distroed out in like the beginning, like before we filmed any of the other episodes. I'm pretty certain it was the first one that was written. And so we were all kind of looking at it, like trying to figure out how to make sense of it.
Yep.
Everyone, yeah. Gethard called this Kaczynski-esque.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated.
You had other ones too.
I know.
Yeah.
We would get like 1-page outlines from every comedian of like, you know, we'll do it to, you know, we'll do some phone calls and I'll say goodnight. And then Riley, I mean, I put off reading this for like longer than I should because I was like, oh, I can't even go, like, it's color coordinated.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. Who is Klon? Who is Brian Funk? It was just like, it was detailed in a really beautiful way.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, when Gethard told me it was Kaczynski-esque, that just made me dig my heels into the concept harder. So then I started storyboarding everything that in conjunction, like this all lines up with the written version too, and it's all color coded the same way. But it made sense. It's just I took this clowning class, and that introduced me to the whole performance aspect with Gene Taylor from Lincoln Center and the Barrow Group, and then there was like a new pilot class. There was like an experimental thing with Gene Taylor and Seth Barish, and so Gene would take care of the clowning. Seth would introduce story structure into the class, and then by the end of the class we'd all have like a 5-minute clowning piece. And you know, the story structure is just this 5-part, you know, arc. So I just split the 3 acts of the show. Each act had 5 parts, and then each of those 5 parts had an even smaller 5 parts, and that's kind of how I tracked each moment of the show. And each moment had like a color delineated to it, and that's how it felt more. It felt easier to write the show that way than to, like, I've always hated writing pilots and stuff. So for some reason, this just made it work for me.
People, great, especially during the show too, knowing like being able to do a script breakdown for timing. It's a live show, and you know, there's obviously a lot of things you need to make sure you don't spend too much time on this and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff to get to. So for producing the show, that insane level of organization was incredible. I mean, you did most of the work that I have to do, you know, as far as breaking down for timing, you already did. And your show was like to the second perfect timing. Like the entire way through, we were on time and we ended at the exact right time. We didn't feel rushed at any point. So, you know,
which is crazy
about your organization. I loved it.
Like, I've watched you specifically for years, you know, like behind the cameras of the Gethard show, like stretch or go, you know? And then so to be in costume doing my show and then to like look at you for guidance and you're just like, oh yeah, we're good.
You're good.
It was like,
that's all I did was just like,
yeah, it's a good feeling.
People in the comments saying there's truly a thin line between genius and insanity. Broke Physics offering, imagine being offended by organization. Shaking
Not
my
offended.
head.
I just wanted to go back and just loved it.
Oh, that's towards
Big fan
Geth.
of the organization. Big fan.
That was towards Geth. Now, Edmund, was this your first CGP that you had directed, or had you done one of the 7 episodes prior?
I did the Josh Sharp episode before this one. So this was one where it definitely was super structured, and like my approach to directing is very much aligned with Riley's style. So I would categorize myself somewhere between that insane and structured type of space. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Edmund and I had a really, really great phone call to just kind of introduce ourselves to each other and the concept for the show. And I felt very taken care of when I could explain that I wanted there to be like a feeling in the studio even before the show got started.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know if, sorry to cut you off. We tried to make like cards
Olivia.
for people.
Yeah.
Olivia, you made
that.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man, that was like maybe the night before that I had to place order at Staples for like all the business cards and all the little clips. I was trying to look for one because I used it as a bookmark, but I found one of the ones from the second CLON.
Yep. $1 billion bonkies. Yeah.
This one, but like, and also thank God for Jared, who after work he rushed right to the Union Square Staples and picked those up for me while he was collecting all the boxes. So
yeah.
That's why I knew Olivia was the real deal, because I was just kind of like thinking all the things that are going to be on on the screen, and Riley had this grand plan of giving every audience member a name tag as if they were going to a actual product unveiling, and I was just kind of like, you're not even going to see this. You're just going to spend a bunch of money on it. Like, Olivia, if you want to do this task, you can do this. But I have to focus on other stuff. And then it just happened. Like, she just fucking handled it.
I wanted it to feel, so authentic. And not authentic, but like, yeah, I feel like the biggest part of the extended Gethard universe and all those shows is the audience. So, like, this really cool idea where we can collaborate with Macy and Sam and our audience coordinators, get them kind of involved in more involved in the production aspect and make it super fun for all the audience members showing up, because there was, I think, like 100 RSVPs that day, or maybe even more. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
I think like 80 people ended up showing up for Riley's first show. So, I mean, yeah. Because, like, I remember being an audience member at the Chris Gethard show, and I remember kind of just, like, feeling so special just because, like, everyone was so chill, and, like, Connor would talk to us before the show, and I as much as, like, I enjoyed that environment, it motivates me to create that environment, that really cool working environment. I'm very, very, like, inspired by CGP and the Chris Gethard show. Like, for my work ethic, especially as an aspiring director too.
When Riley's talked about that like pre-show vibe, it was things like the badges, as if you were a VIP guest to a product unveiling. Riley, I believe you've also mentioned that like you had a playlist that was music that would, the kind of vibe that would play as the audience was loading into a like keynote, like an Apple keynote, right?
Yeah, it was Brian Eno's music for airports, I believe. Music
for airports. There you go.
Yeah.
It seems like sort of like a Disney theme park sort of approach to doing a CGP, in that there's a queue that's part of the experience. And then we talked about the truss work. Justin mentioned that earlier. There was fog machine at max capacity,
and nobody knew what the show. No audience knew what the show was. I hadn't shown
just the word Klon.
Yeah. That's really all I went off of. And
that's great.
Yeah,
I think that's why people were so hyped for it, like especially the crew, because they kind of just had as much idea as the audience,
Yeah.
Like our wonderful production crew. But I think that was just such like the hype, because it was just so unknown. Yeah.
I gotta say too, I think it was Olivia that came up with the concept of the cardboard box with the curtain, so that I could be like completely enveloped in the curtain and we just drop the box down.
I felt so stupid building that.
It worked.
Think about Riley for a second, who if anyone in the audience just go back and watch it, Riley is behind, like he's in that position for 10 minutes just in this box while Dustin's doing his monologue. So like that's another aspect that I just wanted to make sure that got highlighted, because Riley's like, no, I'll just stand in the background and not move.
Yeah. And I stood in that box for like 15 minutes before the show because I had to be there. And
right,
so
even before the ethos.
Even before the audience came in, I was in full makeup, bald cap, wig. Everything was fully prepared so that I could stand there before the audience could come in.
Yeah. It was so obvious just from the first phone call that we had that like you had this world that you created, and I think that's what made it so easy to pull off something like this, is that your vision was so tangible that it was just about supporting the best, like how best to support that vision and bring it to life. But like a lot of it had to do with like the audience ethos and feeling that energy. And man, that was just like this. Everything came together at the right time, even though it was still like some last minute stuff, but it all came together in a great way.
We always use every minute of pre-show to rehearse, because we don't have enough time to, just for the actors, don't have enough time, to pull off what they're trying to pull off. Production crew, they're seeing it for the first time in rehearsals. And we have to cut our rehearsals even shorter so that Riley can get into makeup and then go stand in a cardboard box for the first 15 minutes of pre-show.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, this is what you want. This is ambitious, and you take a big swing, and sometimes you hit a home run.
A couple of us are from the special without Brett Davis, and those 15 minutes where Riley was standing in the background while the audience loaded in, that was usually like our rehearsal time. Like everything we get pushed all the way back to that moment, and then we're like, all right, let's figure out how to do this shot, and then so that was a testament to how prepared or
at least you check in and you're like, well, okay, rehearsal's done, we have audience coming in, like, here are the things we should change, like here are the tweaks we should make. No tweak time, absolutely none. It was rehearsal, Riley in a box, audience in. That's it.
I think we got to practice like a truncated version of like Angermeyer as he leaves. But like we got to practice like the unveiling and me doing like the demo dance, just so that we could get a practice of like Yuri playing the sound effects while I was moving my body. But then, like, it wasn't even funny. It was just like, okay, I guess we're gonna do a show now. Oh, geez, but it worked. It was fine.
I just wanted to point out this doesn't have to be just a compliment fest, but I do want to highlight Tiger Bates's comment saying, "Amazing to have such talented performers paired with a production directorial crew of this caliber on a public access show."
Everyone was so on point, and everyone was so cooperative and ready to like take in these ambitious, unhinged things I wanted to do, and just say, okay, well, here's how we could do what we're capable of, and what the best version of this. It was
Riley, I think that speaks to you in a big way. I think that a lot of people, what I walked away from the first Klon thinking was like, holy shit, people trust Riley. Like all of the production staff, we were there to make whatever show the host wanted to make. But, to get all of the detailed stuff that you had, like we didn't really have a rehearsal. We didn't really get to see the show ahead of time. I was surprised by how much I was surprised by when we actually saw the show happening live. But also the audience, like the audience had no idea what the show was. And it was the first time we packed that place. So, the whole like, us being on board, I think it really is more than anything a testament to you and your past work, because we all were just kind of like, I don't understand it either, but it's Riley, so it's going to be great.
Thank you. I don't know. I just tried to do my best to do a version of what I like to see, and it you know, it's a little sci-fi and clown and improv and wrestling and all that stuff. But like Olivia was talking about, like to create an environment where when you step in it as an audience member, or even as someone who knows the ins and outs of it, but still, when the thing gets up and running, the rules somehow change. That's always how I felt walking into the UCB to see those early Gethard shows, where I've been in that basement hundreds of times, but the air before a Gethard show or a cage match, it was just like, oh, something's different here. There's like, it just, the music playing and the way the audience is interacting, something feels different. Or the shows that I would go to, the Phenomenauts, you know, they're this sci-fi themed punk band where it's just been to Gilman Street before, but when I'm there, it's just, the rules change. People are in costume. People are participating with the art in a different way. It's just, I wanted that. So that was kind of my guiding light there. And that gave me a lot of confidence to make a lot of big decisions with the style and the concept. I'm grateful that everyone trusted me there.
Now, Riley, rehearsals were mentioned there a second ago. Was there anything going into that first episode of Klon in rehearsing it or developing? Were there any notes from this production team that like changed where you were going with Klon?
Yeah, this is like one of my favorite things. But I had been doing. I did a rehearsal with Fesh and Angermeyer just to kind of get acquainted and acclimated with bringing the comedy wrestling improv style together with the theatrical clowning thing I was doing. There was also a clowning workshop that I asked Jean Taylor to organize. I thought it was just going to be me, Fesh, Angermeyer, and her leading the workshop, but she put on the kind of clowning workshop that she does for like her students and her collective, and then me, and then Angermeyer was the new guy there. Angermeyer starts learning the basics of theatrical clowning, and it's like Jean turns to me and is like, you know, he's really good. You got to get him doing clowning on the show too. Of course, Angermeyer picked it up. You know, he's just that good, you know? So the kind of secret, quiet goal for Klon, I didn't know it was just going to be a trilogy, but I was like, as soon as it's possible for the story, we got to get Angermeyer to do we got to get away for Brian Fungalhead to become a clown too. So there was that. But then also in one of these rehearsals, Kate was generous enough to show up for one of these rehearsals, and she's watching us go through the what we know of Klon so far, and just playing out this tech unveiling type show. And she, you know, very calmly, very, you know, gently, she's like, you know, this is good, and it's weird, it's cool, but you know, like, and it's good that, you know, it's cool that you're doing a whole show that's like, you're not speaking, you're giving a lot of space to everyone else in the show, but it is Chris Gethard presents Riley Soliner. It's Riley Soliner's show. Wouldn't it be cool if maybe Klon had a moment to himself? And it was this like almost instantaneous light bulb moment. I knew you were right away. And that's where Robot in a Restaurant came from. I thought of Robot in a Restaurant right there. And Kate, thank you for that. I mean, it was
happy to help.
Because I had I don't know. I remember
it was so fun to go to that rehearsal and just see how motivated and like enthralled and like in it you guys were. I mean, even the fact that you had rented out like a rehearsal space, had it planned out, you know, all of that. So it's awesome to go and kind of see that part of the creative process unfurl, because we're not always involved with CGPs. Like, you're not always involved in the writing process. It varies. Sometimes certain performers would kind of pull you in. So it was cool to kind of be brought into the fold for that, because we were able to kind of lend our like production focused lens on it, of like, oh, well, if you have music, you need to make sound effects when you walk. You already have this band. You gotta, so yeah, it was really fun to just like kind of spout some ideas at you guys, and then you guys were just like, oh yeah, let's do it. And then you just would snowball it into making it very fun to watch, because I wasn't even in the studio that day. I went to the damn ER that day, so I wasn't even there for it, but it was so fun to watch it recovering in bed as a viewer.
I'm glad you made it.
Now, the special without Brett Davis, and then when the Gethard show was at MNN, long history of live musical performances at MNN. CGP, up until this point, hadn't had anything like that. Mind you, the Klon setup probably a little more minimal than a full band coming through. But were there any intricacies for you guys, since music wasn't as much of an element for the 7 shows prior to this? Was there any difference in approach for that?
It was all easy because of Jasno Suarez. Shout out,
Yes.
Jasno.
Yeah.
Genius, man. He handled all of the audio for every show and was honestly itching to have any musical performances on any CGP show.
And he and Nick Union was it Union Productions? Garage Productions, sorry. Beef that. They were on all the or a big chunk of the special without Brett Davis episodes.
Thanks
so they
to
had
you,
Edmund. Well, I forget who connected us, but like I saw them do a music and lighting for a air guitar challenge at some club, and the lighting was so intense. I was like, can I interview you and just like pick your brain on how you guys made all that happen? So like maybe we can bring this over to MNN. And they're like, we'll do it. I was like, we don't have any money. They're like, that's fine. I'm like, oh my god. So like Nick and Jasno are like the sweetest and the just most talented and most like giving, and like just it was like when this came about, we just knew we were in good hands. So like the music was like that was like they had maybe 100 shows of prep for this moment by that point.
Now, what was the air like in the booth? Riley mentioned what the experience, or at least what his intent was for the experience of the audience coming in. But like during the show, what was like? Was the booth eating it up when you guys got your shot of Klon's unveiling? Like, what was that vibe like in the booth for your crew?
I think I mean I'm trying to remember, because the last one that sticks out in my head is certainly the third one where there's some just great moments in there. But the first one, I was like less than a month away from getting married, so it's my purged, not purged, but like it's a little hazy because there's a lot going on in my head. But I do remember that like that's another reason why I was so thankful that there was so much laid out already for us to work with. And by the time we're like, when a show like that is prepped in the way that it is, when it comes time for performance, it's just about enjoying the moment and then hoping that you set up the next shot in the right way to support what might happen. And it was really just, there's just a lot of laughter. It was like, it's you when it's done right or set up right, it feels like you're just part of the audience in some way. It's a lot of fun.
Now, Olivia, what was the atmosphere like for the crew that was on the floor?
So, Riley having everything like so planned out and just having just like all these abstract ideas organized insanely well, kind of like allowed for the crew and definitely for me just to be like, okay, he knows what he's doing. I just have to take everything and go. And I mean, the era before every CGP show for me is just kind of like stressful. But it was one of the first shows where I felt like super like, okay, he knows what he's doing. It's going to work out. I also just get like anxiety before every show I do. But Riley being so sure of himself allowed for us to be like, okay, we got this. Like, I just got to make sure everything is in check. And I also had the wonderful Scott Lamica help me out on that episode. So I feel like half of that load that I usually have was just like, he did just everything like, yes, yes, yes. And I guess our job, I guess at that point is like figuring out how much we could do. And with Klon, we figured out, damn, we can do a lot and we can make it look good. So yeah, having that such an abstract idea just like kind of unfolding before our eyes. And the rehearsal made me like super just like, okay, super calm, super sure that this was going to be a really good show. And I knew that Riley had put his whole heart into this and he wouldn't let it flop.
Well, to your point, Klon begat what would end up being, I wouldn't say an issue that we had with CGP, but a challenge that we had with CGP in that it opened a door for the Talkadoodle-Doos of the world and for all of these more heavily scripted episodes of CGP, Cruise Ship Morgue, shows that I know became heavier lifts on the production side of things, but ultimately opened up a wide variety of shows that CGP was able to put on. We were needing to switch to our next little block, so I'll wrap it up with if any of you have any final thoughts or lasting impressions of Klon, share them. What do you got?
I just want to say a couple other names that weren't said yet for crew. We talked about Macy doing the audience, Scott Lamco, associate producer, Nate Brown is in the chat. Running the floor along with Aaron Dugan. Those guys would handle all the business on the floor. They were fantastic. Andrew Cooper was our production coordinator that week. Harper, Matt Damiano, and Jonathan Porti were on cameras, so that's why the camera work is dope. Emma was usually there. She wasn't there this week. Tom Koff on prompter, and Jared, we talked about on phones. Arin for stills. Hex, who works on Planet Scum, was doing the graphics and the graphics. And then Jasno Suarez on audio, Nick Foligno on lighting, Merritt Christensen on makeup, and then Brian Breton from MNN making it happen. Just want to say the names.
Yay! Thank you.
Names. Yeah, fantastic crew. That's what makes it so special. I do want to say one of my favorite moments directing live TV was not, I mean, definitely was the first one, but the third episode, just for anyone who's watching who hasn't seen it, like there's this moment with Justin where they're singing, where he's singing and he tries to leap onto the couch and like, I have never, like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I spidey sensed that like a bigger thing and cut to this wide shot. And I've never felt more lucky to catch such a beautiful and hilarious moment that like that's gonna be in my top 5 like moments of my directing career for sure. Yeah.
I'm so glad that shot. I'm so glad you love that shot as much as I love that shot.
Like that it just brings me so much joy, and like Justin, how you just like recover from it in just like a earnest way. Like everything about that's beautiful. It makes me so happy. I could have the worst day and watch that.
And laughing in the background, like unable to not. Yeah. He's just losing it, and it brings me so much joy just thinking about that.
Best moment of my life. I love that.
Kate, Olivia, any final thoughts?
I would say that the first Klon made us so certain that the second and third would be as great as we can make them, and the props just got harder and harder, but they were like some of the most fun props to make personally. And it was like, I'm still in college, so it's like kind of just like finding my way, and like this challenge was super awesome, and Like, I'm so happy with the way it looks, and Klon is definitely in my portfolio. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Kate?
It's still what I show people when I'm like, oh, you want to see what CGP is? Like, I got an episode.
Here it is.
I think I've watched Klon with other people maybe, at least a dozen times.
Damn.
It's just something that just like, working in production, you can get all the pieces together and you can get better and better at like the process. But every once in a while, you kind of just like find the magic. All of those pieces come together in a way that just makes something else new, entirely greater than the sum of its parts. And I feel like this whole episode was that. It was that magic of just like, yeah, we can make all of the different pieces, but when they come together and then just like make you feel something, it like just feels really special. Like that's what it's what you're always chasing. I think anyone who makes anything, I think that's what you're chasing. You're just trying to like get these pieces, put them together, and then make a new thing that I just call magic because I don't have good words. And this is magic.
That there was Klon. Kate, any final words?
No actual final words. I mean, I think it's just in terms of not make it about Klon, but just, really appreciative for CGP for existing, for being able to kind of have, that whatever 9-10 months of our life where we were able to kind of all of us hone our skills together and collaborate and be able to meet and connect with such talented people is just like a phenomenal experience. And I think Klon is obviously seeing something be so well thought out and loved for and really considered by every person touching it. I think it's just really special and not something that you see on really any type of TV environment.
Well, I'll say keep an eye out on PlanetScum social because Forrest, who's been doing an amazing job over there, came up with the amazing idea of calling out whenever it's the year anniversary of a show. So he's posting photos and GIFs on the year anniversary of shows because Riley reminded us that we were coming up on years of everybody's episodes. So look out for that. Thank you to the CGP crew for being here. Thank you guys all. It's so great to see everybody's lovely faces. Riley, you want to tell the folks about our lovely incentives while we switch to our next block?
Yeah, guys, you want more content? Oh, look at that baby! Whoa! Wait a minute! Yeah, content, baby content. Yeah!
Hello, this is Oliver. He loves Klon.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Hey, Oliver.
All right, yes. Enough baby times. Sorry, Riley.
All right, guys, you want more content like that? You got to get with the contribution. You got to contribute to the tribute. Let's bring up the thing. You want a little song on my Korg Chaosilator, my little robot music thing where I'm singing with my funny voice, saying words that don't make sense? You send me $5. You send a receipt to googymorning@gmail.com. I'll send you an improvised song. Bingo bango. You want a Klon sticker and you want a never before seen vacation Jason sticker? Send me $7. You want a handmade postcard with my wacky, wild space noodle style? You gotta send me the $20 and I'll mail you a postcard with a personalized thank you on it. You want to watch the Oscar nominated, super long, very strange, entertaining, but not that entertaining movie, The Irishman, Netflix original by Martin Scorsese with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, and Sebastian Maniscalco? You got to send me $1,500 and we'll watch The Irishman together. Also, Action Bronson's in that movie too. What a world! Waterworld. Kevin Costner. All right.
Mail your donation to goodmorning@gmail.com.
Oh yes, please. Look, this isn't Planet Scam, okay? I'm not sending you stuff until I see the money and I see the proof. Okay? It's a business.
Hey guys, I
Business.
got a special guest for you coming to us live from his car. Please welcome Yuri.
We got Yuri. Yes.
Yuri. What's up, everybody? Happy to be here. Hey.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Man,
Now-
I want to.
Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
I want to see Yuri discuss the technical audio side of things with Jasno.
Yeah, man. Jasno rules. I think by the third episode, he was like, because he was so generous with his time and getting the audio right. And we made this 10 times more demanding from an audio perspective than it had any right to be, which was a ton of fun. But by the end, he was just like, oh man, here are the chords. Like, it's going to work out fine. Stop making me test the audio 10 times. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's going to be great. But what a fun dude. What a great crew all around.
Now, Yuri, what went? We talked. What was it? 2 weeks ago on Googy Morning is when you and Riley did sort of a deep dive impromptu. Now, between the 3 different shows, how were each of those different on your end in producing those tracks leading up to each show?
I think we kind of built momentum from show to show in terms of like how much everyone was willing to extend themselves, how much like outside time people were willing to give. I remember by the third one, we got Justin in the studio to like lay down some vocals directly, but it really just kind of snowballed. Like we started, kind of experimenting with music, and then by the end, I feel like the music became a big piece of it, which was really a joy. And also like more songwriting, like, Subway Lover. What a beautiful thing to see come together. I was really blown away by Subway Lover and Justin on Subway Lover. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but there's a story behind Subway Lover. I'll let Justin tell it, but it's a good one.
Oh yeah. All right. So I'm a doorman as in my day job, and this is like 5 or 6 years ago. I was in the hallway collecting the recycling, and from someone's apartment, I heard a keyboard playing, and they were singing the lyrics. This is our night. These are our stars. I am your Subway Lover. And then Riley wrote. I think I told Riley and Yuri and Fesh that story one night, and Riley wrote the lyrics around it, and we haven't gotten a cease and desist yet, so I think we're good.
Now, Justin, what was it like? You guys have told stories about the fact that you recorded. Was it the first Klon EP was recorded like in a legit studio? And Yuri, who was it that you were saying was in the studio right before you guys?
Yeah, it was Stella Santana. I don't even know if I like debriefed Justin on that, but we were going in, and she was wrapping up Carlos Santana's daughter.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was. I actually started working with her on some projects just because we had like overlapping studio time, which sadly all fell apart in March. I mean, studios were hit super hard by this thing, obviously. And, Amar, who runs the studio, is doing some great precautions in early March. And then at a certain point, everybody was just like, we got to walk away from this. And sadly, because the building was so funky at the time that no one was coming in. So that room is kind of like, it's at least going to smell bad forever. I don't know like what the future of the Brick House studio is. But since then it really changed my life to have access to a space where I can make music on a weekly basis. So I've like moved to Philadelphia, where you can do that more easily, and where I have some family, and I'm working on building a new brick house in a basement of
Nice. You're cutting in and out there, so I think we're missing the tail end of it. But my question was going to be, the time you're doing the third Klon, when you're recording those tracks, are you recording them still in that studio, or is it being recorded at a home studio? Yeah. I'm trying to picture in my head. Go ahead, Yuri.
Yeah, no, we did everything at Brick House, which is like a pretty legit environment. ASAP Rocky's first mixtape was recorded there. a lot of like really good New York. Yeah, I don't know. That's like
Riley's
a weird
getting-
like on that mic through that breed, Riley. Like all of Live Love ASAP was engineered by this dude Dan Linus, who was using Brick House with Amar for a long time. But Fat Tony's stuff, a lot of that went through there. A lot of the Greedhead stuff, a lot of Das Race's tracks went through there. So it was
Fat
it was
Tony,
a great
another
space.
CGP staple.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny because a
Um,
lot of the guys, Amar's from Princeton, so a lot of like his
Mhm.
buddies who went to NYU, like were on the original public access iteration of Chris Gethard. Like I remember this rapper Lakutis coming through the Brick House one time and just saying one
Mhm.
line, and the line was "Kill cops slow, 9/11, getting head in the desert like the movie Seven." And he just like said that one line and everyone's like, okay. And then I remember watching CGP, and instead of performing, he did the same thing. He was just like, I'm just going to say this one line. And it's a very awkward, wonderful CGP musical performance. But yeah, a lot of overlap there, and a lot of my initial interest in CGP coming from that community of Jersey musicians.
Yeah. Now, what my reasoning for asking about like where you were recording for the third is that the image I want to get in my head to be certain is Justin, you're recording Subway Lover in the Brick House. What was that experience like for you? Did you feel like a rock star? What was that experience of recording Subway Lover like?
For me, with the Brick House, it's just the coolest place I think I've ever been to in New York. It's and there's like a feeling of calm when you go in there. So it's not for me at least, it's not like a very rock star feeling. It's just like a hang. So it was easy to just kind of like perform in that space. Yeah, I loved that place.
Now, while we have Yuri here, I do want to go to, I believe we have Yuri Fan Art that is also coming by way of Hank asking for a necklace made of calamari. Do we have that ready to screen share?
Man.
There we go. Oh, it even has Denanda on it.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Local unknown over on the Discord. Thank you so much for that fan art.
Oh man, that's
so
a solid
cool.
Twitter avatar right there. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Yuri, what was it like in studio? Kate was mentioning before the aspect of like in doing walkthroughs for the show saying, oh, okay, we need mechanical sounds for when Klon moves around. What was adapting to that space at MNN like for you?
MNN was awesome. I love that space. I love that community. And it was entirely nerve-wracking to try and sync Riley's onstage movement with mechanical sounds. It was like extremely ambitious. And basically, me and Riley just listened to robot noises for like 3 hours one night in the Brick House. And we're like, that's the right robot noise. And it was super challenging at first. And by the third time, we like had gotten comfortable enough to have fun with it, which was really awesome. I think the first time we didn't know if it would land or if it would be funny at all. And we got like a couple moments where it really connected with the audience. That was enough to give us the signal that like we can do this, and we can start wading out deeper into this being weird. And I think the weirdest we got was that door, and the comedy behind opening and closing that door, where it never happened correctly, but the idea of what was supposed to happen certainly existed in the room, and that was a lot of fun. And on the note of the third recording session, I think if I have the chronology right, Justin, after you left, David came and added the hype backing ad-libs Subway Lover that really pulled it together, in my opinion.
It really did. So good.
David Ray Martinez, who's in the chat. We have another special
what's
guest.
up, man? Oh, it's been forever. It's great to see you.
We have another special guest that I want to get in here. We have Denanda.
Yay! Hi.
Everybody. How is everybody doing?
Great. We're
good.
Celebrating and just hanging out.
I'm sorry for being fashionably late. Fashionably.
Yes, all of those.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Great. We were just talking Klon. I was talking with these guys. Obviously, music such a big part of Klon. You had a number of monologues, especially that first Klon. It dove right into the Moon Snack song. Which am I getting? The name of that is something completely different. I'm just remembering as Moon Snacks.
Moon Snack. Yeah.
Is it?
Good
Oh,
job.
okay. What was Klon like for you? Like how was that pitched to you, and then what was your experience like doing it?
I remember it was in the a year ago, when my parents came to New York. And I remember that Riley invited me, I think like 3 weeks before.
Something like that, yeah.
And it was one of those things that like always establishes for me my friendship with Riley and the trust that we have towards each other, because I think I got the monologue like 3 days before, and it was just a lot of fun. And I wasn't at all stressed like, oh, when am I gonna have the material, because I knew Riley trusts me, and whatever he's gonna do, it's gonna be great. So then I got the monologue, and it was a lot of fun. And I remember we were in Dumbo in that amazing studio. And that was the first time I met those other guys. It was just like one big party. And I was so excited to do it. And that my parents were here from Amsterdam to also see it, because obviously they cannot be here every time. So it was really special and just a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
And I want to, for people that don't know at all, I mean, there's no way to know this, but Denanda was not reading off of teleprompter. She memorized her monologue entirely. we just spent a year in our acting class together. So she was fully prepared to this is how I knew she would be perfect for the show. She just completely committed to memorizing the monologue and did it one take live.
Yeah.
I do want to call out word that we're getting is that Yuri's phone might die at any moment. Yuri, in case we don't get the opportunity later, thank you so much for being here for a Klon retrospective.
Oh man, what a pleasure. It's just a joy to see all your lovely faces. Working on Klon was such a highlight. And man, I'm at my parents' house. My phone's about to die. Haven't seen my mom in like 6 months. She's gonna go crazy.
Oh, wow.
Pleasure to see y'all. And I'll catch you
It's
soon.
beautiful where you are.
Yeah, it's Ulster County in New York, like just past Poughkeepsie. It is pretty lovely.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much, Yuri. We'll let you get to family.
Talk to you soon.
That seems like it died. He was still talking.
Oops.
Oh, wow. Thank God.
Well,
Oops. I do want to bring somebody else in here if they're backstage.
Okay.
A big part of Klon was the audience response to Klon. We talked a little bit about how promotion leading up to the show was just based off of the word and nothing else. I think if I remember correctly, Riley, I reached out to you to ask, hey, how should I promote your show? And you just said the word Klon.
Oh, God.
But in leading up to the show is one thing. After the show was a completely different ordeal. We have with us a fixture of Planet Scum, but way back when she coordinated the Klon zine that was produced. Please welcome Jess.
Ooh.
Yay!
Hi.
Hi, Jess.
Thank you for having me on screen today.
I know.
If we had David Ray Martinez here, he would sing the Jess song.
Oh, we can do that. Anyway, Bryson?
I don't know if Hex, if you have the zine, let's go ahead and bring it up. Because obviously Klon, as we've covered a little bit, just inspired people in a way that CGP hadn't seen before to just create. Riley's got the physical copy in hand. There we go. Zooming out a little bit on it. Perfect. We've got the wonderful. This is Jake Perez, right, Riley?
Yeah, Jake Perez did something that like that blew me away after the first con. I think someone came up to me and handed me their phone like seconds after the show ended and showed me that Jake Perez had drawn like a sketch of my character that had to have been done during the show, and people were already making, like, you know, and it's kind of commonplace for CGP shows and Planet Scum shows now, but like to have fan art being made during the show and shown to me right after felt like it means the world. It meant the world at the time. It still means so much. And then that Jess went above and beyond, put so much work into like a physical thing that I could get in the mail and flip through, and that I could, you know, buy and give to my parents as gifts. I mean, it was, it means a lot. It really does.
Jess, you're putting this together. Was this in response to the fact that we were just seeing an influx of fan art coming out of Klon?
We were, and also there was so much energy around CGP at that time. Klon had come out, and we took a vote in the Discord on what, you know, episodes or, you know, inside jokes we could make a zine about, and, you know, by far Klon was the winner, and everyone was really excited. There was so much that everyone wanted to do to celebrate Klon and Riley's work and everyone's work, and so that's really where it came from. It just really came from the fans being such fans of what was happening on CGP at the time, especially with Klon.
Now, Riley, when this was, I believe, Mary did this one?
That was Mary.
Wow.
Got some Klon fashion. Riley, let's talk a little bit. You've shared the story before, but the Klon jumpsuit.
Oh, yeah. So this jumpsuit, I've always loved jumpsuits. I love characters that wear jumpsuits, you know. Makes me think of Devo, or makes me think of like just there's something we all know there's something futuristic about a jumpsuit. David Bowie, you know. So I'm always on the lookout for a good jumpsuit. And I was on a camping trip with my dad. He takes an annual camping trip up to Washington State, and it's this was the first and only time so far that I've been with him to this trip. And it's a big group of you know, hippie folks that get together and do this every year, and it's a special thing for everyone. And everyone does like a big giveaway at the end where we get in a big circle. People bring things, either new or just old things to put in the circle, and everyone gets to just go through the stuff and put one thing in and take one thing out. And I was wandering around this big pile of stuff, couldn't really find anything that really spoke to me, and people are taking stuff. It's getting kind of, all right, let's finish this up. Riley's still walking around looking for something. And there was a cardboard box on the ground. There was nothing in it. But I moved the cardboard box over to the side, and just laying on the ground, perfectly laid out, is this jumpsuit. And I pick it up by the shoulders, and I just hold it up to my body, and I just know right away that it's going to fit perfectly. And I put it on, and it just made me, it felt like my like all of a sudden it was like a superhero uniform, or like my new skin or something. And it's been one of my prized possessions. And I just knew that a big part of the confidence to perform the show was going to come from this jumpsuit. And I don't even know like what it's for. I think like it's got these weird pockets. It's got detachable sleeves, the knee pads, the stirrups at the ankle.
You said it has no branding on it, right?
No branding. No information. I think it's got to be polyester. It's got these weird zipper flaps that flap down. And most importantly, it's got these little zippers where the pockets are, so you could just reach into your pants pockets through the jumpsuit. It's really helpful for clowning because I can keep props and stuff in my pants pockets. And someone, I forget who, told me that it might be a skydiving jumpsuit. but I
That
don't.
would
I don't
track.
know. Yeah.
Now we'll go through more of the zine, Riley. While we're doing it, you know, you're talking about the jumpsuit, and you mentioned that a big part would be sort of the overall costume and makeup is definitely a heavy part of that. We haven't mentioned the makeup that went into Klon.
No, yeah, we gotta. If we do another one of these, we gotta get Merritt on. Merritt is Merritt. She's a makeup artist who's done special effects on like horror movies. She'll make it look like your eyeball is popped out or your throat is cut. She's amazing at that kind of stuff. And I know her through
There you are.
UCB, when UCBW, the wrestling thing happened there. And then she came over and did characters and stuff for XSW. And she's done amazing crafting things, like she's built a pinball machine out of cardboard for a wrestler to get smashed through. I played a marionette, and I had a tag team partner that was like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs crossed with Buffalo Elmo. And Merritt built us like a cardboard puppet stage to perform at. She does amazing things visually. And so the Klon makeup for her was like piece of cake, bald cap and the gray paint. But the amazing thing about Merritt is that it was such a time crunch. I mean, we've talked about how I needed to be in place before the audience in the first episode. So she like glued this bald cap on, and we like tag teamed the gray paint all over my face and head together. She was like the perfect person for the job. Under pressure, yeah, she's cleaning me up there. This was at post show. Merritt rules. We gotta get her on next time.
Now, Justin, similarly for you, was putting on the blue button up and khakis. Did that make you feel like it was game time? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, well, I was trying to go for like Steve Ballmer, who's Bill Gates's right-hand man, who like loses his mind at like these like tech meetings, and they'll like be like, there's this one clip where this guy is like asks him a question from the audience. He's like this like tech kid, and he's like, "Can you do some of this?" And then Steve Ballmer's like, "You want me to be I'm in PR mode this whole time, and you want me to do Monkey Boy?" And he starts like screaming, and he's always just sweating through a button down. He's disgusting. So yes, it did get me in the zone. The button down khaki, baggy khaki look.
Now, the first Klon, the whole conceit is that you're having like a pump up moment right before having to go on stage to do the unveiling. But in reality, you're on stage as you doing the pump up. So was there a pre-pump up, personal pump up for you for the first Klon?
We did like a quick rehearsal that was bad for like 20 minutes beforehand. And I think, and not really, that was kind of it. I was just kind of doing pacing in the background. And that was really it. So, and that was anticlimactic. I had nothing else there.
Like, I did like that even during, like when Gethard's doing his little intro, we had Justin just wandering with his phone in the back, just already in character, kind of lurking, ready to go. There were just little things like that, just to kind of, and me obviously I was standing in the box there, just like these little things to get in character before the audience is really supposed to pay attention to us. I think aren't like big pump up moments, but I think they helped the performance. Yeah,
I think so.
And then, we're coming up a little bit on time here. So, what did Klon mean for each of you? We'll start with Jess, maybe, and we'll go around the horn. But Jess, with your involvement being on the community side of things, what stood out for you with Klon? And then for everybody else, what did ultimately working on Klon mean for you? Of course, I'm going to end with you, Riley, just to cards on the table. Jess. Oh, you're muted, Jess.
It was so great. I'll start over. I think it was said before that Klon was like the throwing down of a gauntlet. And I think for the community who was still trying to get in the groove of what CGP was and what it could be, and there was so much lore around Klon before it even aired, because there were people trying to guess what it was, and there was a secret around it, and then we would get little bits of the audience members sharing some of their experience as they entered the studio, and there was just so much thought and care put into it. And I think it was such a moment for the community to come together and be a part of something at the same time and be excited about it, that it's like no surprise to me that the zine came out of that, and it was very easy to curate and put together because there was so much energy and excitement around it. And the last piece of artwork that was shown just now was actually a crew member submitted that to the zine. So there was even people on the crew, Harper, who were so excited they wanted to still be part of it after it was over even. So I think it meant a lot to the community in terms of, oh, wow, this is what this can be. This is what we're here for every week. Let's really rally. And we had a lot of fun with it. So.
Denanda, what did Klon mean for you?
But it's interesting what Jess is saying about thought and care, because I think that those are the key words definitely to describe Riley and his work. For me, it meant a lot for multiple reasons, like to see somebody I so believe in, and Riley was like one of my first friends here in the US. So as a friend, I'm just super proud, and it's amazing when friends can shine and do something they're good at and what they love. And so that was amazing. And it was amazing for me. I just had so much fun, like the whole process of like learning my lines, then rehearsing, then coming to the studio. And I always discovered weird things that I had that I was so super nervous before I needed to go up, and I had like weird fears. I remember the second show, I really had the fear, like, what if I fall asleep during my monologue? And I remember really thinking that. And then the moment we get on, and I feel Riley's energy in the back, and like Justin, it all goes away, and we just have a lot of fun. It was just amazing to have that whole experience, and sort of a practice for me to trust myself. And I don't know if I'm making sense. I think that's it, and probably way more, but that's what I'm feeling right now.
Absolutely. Now, Justin, the right hand, well, really the man behind Klon, which I incorrectly attributed Riley to. What did Klon mean to you?
It genuinely means the world. My dad got really sick at the end of 2016, and he wound up dying towards the end of 2018, like a year before we did Klon. My grandma died in that same time, and then like right after that, I had to have my dick operated on, which was a nightmare. And it was like Fesh asking me to do extremely serious wrestling, and then Riley asked me to do Klon. I don't even think I'd be even trying to continuing to be a comedian if it wasn't for those guys. So I genuinely feel very indebted and thankful.
Now, Riley,
I didn't know about the dick operation thing, man.
It was a month after my dad. Well, it was I pulled a cyst out of my dick, and then I had to have it repaired. Which it's a fun thing to deal with also grief.
My goodness.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for. Thank you. Poor choice of words here, but thank you for pulling through and doing the show. God, I mean, I knew that it was kind of going to be like a, praise Riley fest a little bit. I kind of didn't want to do it for that reason. I wanted to, but I'm very, very happy that everyone else working on the show seems to have come away with it with a positive experience. That means so much because this show, as silly as it is very personal. And so to put these elements out there in a way that I could really care about it and really be confident in how it was going to be handled with so many other people doing their part. And the fact that they enjoyed it is just like, there's an element of the creative process where you get self-conscious and you're like, I don't want to put you out by making you do this thing you don't want to do. Or maybe I can't tell you everything about it. It's not possible. Or there's got to be some surprise there. So you're not going to know everything until it happens, or until I'm not even going to know until it happens. For people to go along with it like that, and it feels like I have received a gift, and the fact that by me doing this, it also feels that I have given a gift. It is just, it's a very, very, very good feeling. And so I'm kind of training myself to not think about the past so much so that I could look forward and do more good things in the future. But it is good to look back at Klon and celebrate it, because I don't know when I'm going to get to do something like that again. But it is also, it's proof positive that I can bring together the people that I really want to work with. If I come with an idea well prepared and something that I feel strongly about, it's going to come together in a way that is even better than if I were to even try doing something alone. It was just such a good team effort that I'm so proud of, and I'm so thankful I got to do it and that people got something out of it. Fans, the production crew, the cast, everyone working online, people making stuff. Look at this.
This is
Mr.
Local Unknown again.
Local Unknown is killing it. Thank you, Local Unknown. This image, that like me with like these yellow glasses are one of the last things that I own from being a fan of the Phenomenauts. I still have their T-shirt. Doesn't fit me anymore, so I wear these sci-fi glasses as like I got these at a Phenomenauts show. Such an influential thing in terms of like performance art and sci-fi and goofiness. That's what those glasses mean, and punk music, and the wig, even just like the facial expression and the jacket and all. It's just like I didn't know it until I saw someone screenshot this image from the show that it was like, this is exactly what I was going for. And it was in the beginning of the second episode, like right before I went on stage, and I'm wearing like a pair of sunglasses and the jacket and like a bandana. And someone took a picture of me, and I remember feeling so cool in that moment, even though I looked so dumb. And there's something to me personally very empowering about just looking as stupid as possible. And so that's a lot of what I see in this picture, is just being so wrapped up in the moment of this clowny thing that I'm doing that it just doesn't matter, that I could just grunt into the mic. And because of the story that we told and the work that we put in to make this like a story that makes sense, people are going along with it, even though it's just me fooling around. It's just such a good feeling. Yes. Thank you, Local Unknown. Thank you,
Well, now the chat, specifically David Ray Martinez, is using the chat to demand fan art from Local Unknown. We're about to wrap up the show, so if you want to see Local Unknown's fan art, head over to our Discord or then post it in our fan art channel. Thank you all for being here for a great Klon retrospective. Riley, anything you want to leave these folks with before we wrap up the show?
I say give a round of applause to Bryson for doing such a terrific job hosting today.
I'm just gonna say, get a deck of cards. That's
get a deck of cards.
Get a deck of cards.
The fast food conspiracy exists.
Well, yeah. Thank you guys all for being here. This has been our Klon retrospective. Come back next Saturday, same time, for another Googy Morning with Riley Solner. Right. Oh, there you go. There's the photo afterwards. Also, should mention the name Chris Gethard, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Chris Gethard, for developing and giving me a shot with Chris Gethard Presents. Man, next time I got to tell the story about the day that I received the text from Gethard about his idea to bring me on for Chris Gethard Presents. I was having a bad day, and that text really helped, and that sparked me coming up with Klon. So thank you, Chris. Yes.
All right. Well, see y'all next week. I forget, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, Riley, but did we have what we were doing next week for Googy Morning to tease the people with?
Probably going to be eating some fruit, playing some music, but yeah, there's no log line yet.
Okay, perfect. See y'all next week. Thank you, Denanda. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Riley.
Everybody.
Have a Googy Morning, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.